Wealth Our Way Wednesdays, 12:30 p.m. 15 minutes of finance. What do you do when you're starting from the mud with less than zero? No plan, no role model, no hero. Take to the streets, bring heat like De Niro, or tune in to Wild, the network, the thorough. If it was me, I'd sit down with a pad and a pen, hit my homie shitty thoughts with a friend. Tank is spitting real knowledge from beginning to end. 15 minutes, Wealth Our Way, let the lesson begin. Yeah, 15 minutes of finance with your man, Big Tank. Let's get it. What's going on, my people? Of course, it is your main man, Charles Tank Harris, the founder and chief visionary officer of the financial literacy platform Wealth Our Way, where our motto is wealth is not only for the wealthy. Welcome each and every one of you to episode 207. This is part 3 of our series on money and children. And today we're going to talk about college or nah. You know, is college still a great choice for our children? But before we get into that, you know, the new format in 15 Minutes of Finance has us doing our go or no go in the beginning of the program. But for Black History Month, we have chosen to focus on entrepreneurs and just pioneering trailblazers who have set examples for Black entrepreneurs such as myself. And today we are talking about none other than Mr. Reginald Lewis. Reginald Lewis is an icon in the Black entrepreneurial corporate finance business world. He was the first African-American to do $1 billion leveraged buyout. Just so I can explain and give the grandioseness of what that meant. Back in the time that Reginald Lewis was in corporate America, of course, we have a history in America of racism and segregation and discrimination. The thing about Reginald Lewis that set him apart from his peers and contemporaries was that he would never accept the fact that he was Black and that he was being discriminated against as any rational reason for why something didn't go in his favor. In fact, his whole team would be around him saying, yeah, Reg, you know, you just didn't get that deal because you were Black. And he wouldn't hear of it. He'd get infuriated by the insinuation or notion of that. He would say, if I was destined to be the person, if I had did my greatest job, then there was no reason that anyone could tell me no, even if they hated because of the color of my skin. And that is something that resonates with me to this day. It sits with me that no excuse, that one-dimensional blinders, myopic view on success. So a leveraged buyout is when you take a publicly traded company, and these are the biggest companies in the world that are on stock exchanges, and you decide to buy back all the stock that's outstanding and run the company privately. And that is what Reginald Lewis did with TLC Beatrice. It was a worldwide food conglomerate. They had offices all over the globe, France, Switzerland, America, of course. And he consolidated all of the company stock, took the company private, and ran it himself. One of the things that I enjoyed most about his book, Why Should White Guys Have All the Funds? That's the audacity this man brought to the table. One of the things I loved about his book was that they talked about how he got into Harvard Law School. Reginald Lewis has the distinction, and this is something that will most likely never happen again. It never happened before him, has the distinction of being the only person to ever get into Harvard Law School without applying. It's a really interesting story. I'll do it very quickly. There was an internship program for top African Americans that were in historically Black colleges. Just, you know, was set up to see if they could cut it in an Ivy League setting, in a setting like Harvard. But it was told to every administrator, every teacher, that this program was not designed to be a feeder program to get into Harvard. It was just simply to give exposure to African Americans from historically Black colleges. Reginald Lewis did so well in the program, met so many people in the administration, and got such support from the other staff members that they admitted him to Harvard from the program. And when he showed up his first day to sign up on campus, they had to make him fill out an application to get into college because they had already admitted him without doing so. They realized that when he got there that he never went through the admissions process. So for dotting the I's and crossing the T's, they had him fill it out after he had already been admitted to school. That's how amazing this man was. He worked feverishly, and unfortunately, as you see from the graphic, he left us a little bit before his time, as we would like to say. He was 51 years old, about to turn 52, when he passed away from a brain aneurysm. But his legacy lives on. His family still does great philanthropic work. Reginald Lewis is who we support and honor today for Black History Month. Salute to you from Wild Nation. Today, I want to talk about something right along the lines of the success and keeping in line with Reginald Lewis and Harvard. Is it still worth it for our kids to be raised to go to college? Now, I'm a high school dropout, and I still went to college. That's probably why I relate so much to Reginald Lewis. I ended up backdooring my way into college. I was accepted to college during my junior year. My high school football assistant coach, I went to his alma mater. He pulled some strings, got me enrolled. But then I decided to not finish school after my senior year. I went to the first half when it was football season. I didn't go January through June. And I didn't realize it, but the college was unaware that I dropped out of high school. So they kept sending me information to come to orientation, pick my dorm room, things like that. So I ended up having to do some sketchy things to produce records to get myself in and go take my GED to backdoor, make sure nobody ever caught that I hadn't gotten a high school diploma, to stay in college. And then I transferred to a bigger school, and the rest, as they say, is history. I've made a lot of money and I've made a great network of friends, and I attribute a lot of that to going to college. But some of the biggest success stories, especially in American business that we hear of, never went to college, or they went to college for 5 minutes and they decided to leave. And with this increasing burden of financial debt that is going on from student loans and the cost of higher education, we have to ask ourselves, in this day and age, in 2023 and beyond, should we be focused on sending our kids to college, or should we focus on making sure that they get the base education that is given K through 12, that we teach them on the what I call the off season of school during summers, that we get them increased experience in trades, we get them increased experience in entrepreneurial activities, we get them increased experience in real estate, and we let our kids decide for themselves upon their graduation from high school which path they want to go down. So I spend half my time in New Jersey, half my time in Georgia, as you guys know. And I found it very interesting when the Georgia football season was going on. I was watching the public broadcast station down here covering Friday Night Football, and the commercials all stemmed around promoting trades after high school. So I don't know how many of you guys know about the college football recruiting season, where you see the kid in front of 4 hats and he picks the hat on that of the school he wants to go to. Well, they had a commercial, it was really cute, set up like that, and the kid knocks all the hats off the table, opens up his shirt and says, he's going to become a plumber. Now, here's the thing about that. I used to laugh when I thought about the difference between going to college and becoming a tradesperson. But I'm here to tell you, as a financial planner, I have a client that works for I have 2 clients that work for Roto-Rooter, the plumbing company. They are both master plumbers. They both make over $250,000 a year. So I laugh no more. The reality is that the reason I laughed is because I was trained in my mind to think tradespeople are laborers and they don't make any money. And going to college makes you this Ivy Tower smart person that makes all the money. And the reality is nothing could be further from the truth. If we look at the history of this country and we see how post-slavery, when the industrial age was shifted into the information age, and labor, being able to work in a factory, being able to work in a warehouse was starting to be displaced. And you can look at towns like Akron, Ohio, or other areas that are industrial driven, Pittsburgh, and you see a lot of empty warehouses, a lot of empty factories. That's happening now with the information age. What you're seeing is jobs that used to go to people who went to college and could make six figures and be in middle management are now being replaced and downsized through technology, through artificial intelligence. And as they say about fashion, what was old is new. It's very similar in the trades fields now, that what was old is now new. It is now very, and Carla, you make an excellent point, boo. The reality is that I can't find time to get my car fixed because there are so many backups to get my car fixed. It seems like there's more people who need their car fixed than there are mechanics who can fix them. And when you talk about plumbers charging an arm and a leg, that's just true. These skilled trades are so in demand, and they will continue to be in demand. Having someone who knows carpentry, having someone who knows how to do sheetrock, who knows how to lay concrete. Now, I'm not going against college. Once again, I started my program by saying college has been amazing for me. But if I'm going to close this particular segment and put a bow on what we need to do for our kids, I'm going to have to use my 3 tips. And the 3 tips for figuring out whether we should do college or trades is very, very simple. Tip 1, talk to your child earlier than later. Sit your child down and get an understanding into their brain as to what success looks like for them. And success shouldn't always be geared around money. There should be an element of happiness to what we're going to do with our career. So tip 1 is sit down and talk with your kid about careers. Tip 2, they have take your kid to work day. I challenge you to do better than that. Not just take your kid to your job, but introduce your child to things outside of what you're familiar with. Home Depot, the Apple Store. There's all types of companies in America that have workshops where you can bring your child and show them different crafts, different technologies, STEM, all different areas of athletics. That's one thing I do with my child. My child is an athlete, but I also take my child to see how to become a referee, how to become a trainer, how to work in radio, television, and film for game. So tip 1, talk with your child. Tip 2, get your child exposure. And then tip 3, and this seems really obvious, but we as parents are our kids' biggest influence. We are our kids' environment. So don't create an environment of condemnation and judgment for your child. Keep an open mind and let your child know that if they want to go into the armed services, if they want to go into college, if they want to go directly into a trade, that you're open to hear any and everything that your child will bring to the table. Because once you tell your child that they can't do something, you've started to shorten their desire to do anything. Because if they know that they can't do or they can't have the support of the person who they look up to the most, they'll stop dreaming. And the reality is that none of us have a crystal ball as to what is best for our child, and what we think is best for us may not be what's best for our child. So tip 1, talk to your child, get them understanding what their choices are in life, what their options are in life. Tip 2, we got to do more than talk. We got to show them, take them to different jobs and different career fairs and let them see college versus non-college. And tip 3, be supportive. Be that parent that loves and nurtures your child and supports them through any change. Because statistics say that nowadays you can make as much money not going to college as you can going to college. And if you're getting your kid a head start with entrepreneurial activities and real estate and things of that nature, they can supplement their income through anything that they do. So with that being said, I want to sign off. Happy continued Black History Month. We will see you here next Wednesday for another 15 minutes of finance. I'm out.
Thanks for tuning in to the Wild Network. For more great content like this, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page at Wealth Our Way Network. Also, don't forget to follow us on IG and Facebook. Remember, wealth is not only for the wealthy.